This evening, I would like you to join me with a cup of hot tea as we read an excerpt from my old stories. They are not dated, but judging from the binding and the coloration of the book, I'd say they're about 20 years old. We can also see by the teeny tiny handwriting that it's a very young person when I wrote these stories. Join me as we venture down memory lane. As you can see by episode 1, that the background is very informal. My hair is done up in my usual scarf do. I am wearing an old t-shirt from an old lover, should we call it? Doesn't matter. It's comfortable. I refuse to throw it away. Tonight, we begin. Do we really have to move again? Lisa questioned her mom as tears started to fill in her eyes. Lisa, you know we can't stay here anymore. The lease is up on our apartment in July. It is June now. Besides, you like the snow. Snow? No, I won't. All I know is that snow is cold, and I don't like cold. And why do we have to move all the way to Pennsylvania? Why can't we go back to Georgia or stay down here in Florida? Why? You know why we can't go back to Georgia. And your father got a great job in Philadelphia's Children's Hospital. And I can get a good job up there. Mom, you can get a good job anywhere. You're a nurse. Well, your father really feels it's best if we move up north. Just think. You have snowball fights and make snowmen. With who, huh? I'm leaving all of my friends. And for the last time, he's not my father. Okay. Pause. I have not read this story in years. I have no idea what's going on, but it escalated really quickly. Lisa's face became hot and red from anger and sadness. Tears flowed out of her eyes as she ran into her room. Harry, Lisa's stepfather, walked up next to Nia, Lisa's mother. Don't worry. She will like our new place. She will get used to it. In her room, Lisa gripped harder to her old, dirty, stuffed sled dog. You have been through it all with me, thought Lisa. You're one of my first animals that Daddy gave me. Oh. You were there when they made me move from my home, from Georgia to Florida, and now all the way to Pennsylvania. It's all his fault. Ever since he came, things have been different, and not for the better. Lisa looked around her room at the collection of over 500 stuffed animals. I know I'm not going to be able to keep all of you guys. Anger began to fill Lisa's heart again. She knew that all the stuffed animals would take up too much room. Slowly, they tried to cut Daddy out of my life. First Court, and now moving away. Harry tries to buy my affection, but it's not going to work. At that instant, Lisa picked up a very new expensive crystal dolphin that Harry brought for her. I hate you! And threw the dolphin across the wall. It hit the wall and shattered to many little pieces. She lay down on her bed and continued to cry. Meanwhile, back in the living room, Nina and Harry were talking. What was that? Asked Harry. It sounded like glass. What is wrong with that child? Is she crazy breaking stuff? Nina started to walk towards Lisa's room, but Harry grabbed her. She's a black mom. It's hard. Leave her alone for now. On the phone, Lisa didn't talk at all. I'm sorry. I can't read. On the plane, Lisa, in all fairness, it's hard to read. Which is unusual because you can never get Lisa to stop talking. When they arrived in Pennsylvania, the family took a limo. Oh, he rich. To the house. Harry wanted to make an impression on the new neighborhood. They had finally arrived at their new house, and it was the corner house at the top of a curve on a hill. Looking out from the house, there were 2 streets going down the hill from different directions. You know what's creepy? I live in a cul-de-sac that's on top of a hill with 2 streets going down. It's creepy. Let's pause for a tea break. But I'm not the corner house, though. almost. Okay. In between these streets, there was another set of homes, a big house at the top. Wait, seriously, was I living in this house when I wrote this? Because this is way too accurate. Okay. A big house at the tip and little houses going down the streets. The workers started moving things into the house. Lisa stayed in the car until everything was set up. Lisa, come on in and see your new home, called out Harry. A single tear, oh, she's so dramatic, rolled down Lisa's face. She quickly wiped it away and slowly stepped out of the limo. Lisa's nose immediately was filled with fresh spring air. Not in the north. She looked at her new house, then something caught her eye. It was a hand in a window next door. As Lisa looked at the other houses closely, she saw other hands and faces. Great, crazy neighbors, she thought. There were two main ways to enter the house, from the side and from the front. Walking in the front of the house, Lisa could smell the new hardwood floors. The living room was dim because there was only one window, creepy, and the dining room had an old-fashioned chandelier and designs all on the wall. What in the American Horror Story is happening? Leaving the dining room, Lisa walked through the living room and onto the indoor porch. The porch was long, not big. Okay? In the middle of the room, it had an old wood-burning stove. Stepping down into the room. To be continued. To be continued. That's it. That concludes our first story of the evening. Tell me in the comments below, what did you think? I'm so curious as where I was going with that story. Like, I mean, the next story starts about two friends. Do I continue this story? I'm not going to look ahead. Find out next time if we continue up with Nia, Harry, and Lisa in their journey in their new home up north. Have a good evening, everyone.